Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello, good morning, and welcome back to the channel where you join me bright and early back in the UK. In fact, I literally flew in late last night following my tour in the US and being at the Frankfurt Motor Show, but you join me today here at Jemca Toyota on Edgware Road in London, and that can only mean one thing. It's here. Today is collection day of my new Toyota GR Supra. It's one of 90 A90 Editions, and today I'm going to be picking up the car and driving it 500 miles over to Germany. I'm heading towards the Nurburgring Nordschleife. If I get there in time today, I'm going to try and do a collection day lap, but we will find out later on whether that is going to be possible. For now though, let's head inside. It is Supra collection day. It's the morning rush hour right now. The roads are incredibly busy, and I'm going to have to hope that I don't have too much traffic later on to get across to France, through Belgium and over to the Nurburgring. It's going to be a very close call if I'm actually able to do a lap today, but if not, it's going to be coming very soon. In the meantime, a friend of mine has come to join, also with a new Supra. Mine is lurking just inside, and like I said, it has been a long wait, in fact almost a year. The way Toyota did the first orders is you went online and the forms actually opened while I was in Canada, so I had to get up in the middle of the night to place my order to get one of the 300 UK cars out of the 900 in the first year for Europe in total, and then they did a second process which was literally fastest finger first to get one of the A90 Editions. There are literally only 90 to celebrate the A90 codename in the whole of Europe, and only 24 of those are in the UK, one of which is just inside the showroom right now. So let's head on in then. My car is here waiting. Let's catch up with the guys. It's just under this cover at the moment. We're going to be revealing this all. How you doing, guys? Hello. Hi Dev, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Hey Andy, how are you?
You're right.
This is going to be so exciting. We will reveal the car in just a moment. Toyota GR Supra, Gazoo Racing. This is it though, the new 5th gen Supra. Underneath the cover you can see the nose. Let me give you a sneak peek actually quickly before we do the full reveal. The storm grey, satin grey paintwork that you've got here. In fact, oh, that's very clean. No plate on the front, we like that. That's going to look really, really nice. So, in a second then, we will get this pulled back and it will be reveal time. It's time then, I'm going to reveal the car for you guys. Let's do this and pull this cover back on the A90 Edition. Wow. Check that out. Check that out. How cool is this? I was lucky enough to drive an A90 before. I'm just going to take the camera to show you a little bit more, but this is the car, and I'll take you around some of the details that are unique to the limited edition. Only 24 of them. Firstly, the paint color, the storm grey, the satin silver paintwork. Then on the interior, the red leather of the seats. There are a few other details as well inside. You've got the satin black wheels, the matte black wheels, red calipers of course. Different markets have different launch editions, but this is the version here, and this is my new car, and there we have it, SH19 MEE, to celebrate the launch year 2019, and of course Toyota's success at the 24 Hours of Le Mans this year for the second time, 2019 running of the 24 hours. But this is it. This is the new Shmeemobile. I am incredibly excited to get set for today's journey, and let me show you as well over here. The guys have very kindly given me some goodies to come along with the car. We have a cake which has my number plate on it, really fun touch. Some water, sweets for the road, and then in this little pouch is actually where you have the keys. Let me see if I can open this one-handed. Yep, there we go. This is the key for the car. Nice red touches around the outside. More on that later. Got some key rings, special. Actually, this is a really cool thing. Toyota have done an amazing job with the A90. Little goodies and giveaways, and I think this is an A90 Edition key ring that comes with the car, but they made customers feel really special. And then Isho, the kind of mascot, we're all one, we're all a team, which is a bit of fun as well. That's probably going to end up living in the car. So this is all really, really cool. Let me just unlock it so that I can show you inside very quickly. In fact, let's come round to the driver's side. This is literally the first time I have ever seen my new car at all. I didn't even come and see it before collection day. Inside here, like I said, you've got the red leather, you've got the red on the steering wheel, carbon fiber trims on the inside. We've got just 8 miles on the clock. Check that out, just 8 miles, brand new, and it smells completely new inside here. We'll put the luggage back there ready for the road trip. But this is it, the new Toyota Supra. Up front, twin scroll turbo, inline 6, 340 horsepower, 500 newton meters of torque. What do you think, guys? This is so cool. I've been waiting a long time, and this is a car I'm going to drive and do so much with. Bring it on. We've had to come up with a workaround for something which you might be able to spot on the car behind me, and I know it is not the best. It's what I've chosen to do for the time being, because of course to drive 100 miles to the Eurotunnel and then also to drive in France, Belgium and particularly Germany, you cannot do so without a front number plate. Now this is my workaround at the moment, because what you're supposed to do with the Supra actually is to drill 4 holes into the front bumper. Now given this is a special paint job, one of only 24 cars, I didn't want to do that. I thought that would be complete sacrilege to the car. So what we've got is basically a sticker plate positioned here on the lower splitter so that it's at least displaying my correct registration in the full size on a reflective sticker at the front, which I think will do for now. I don't know if I'm going to keep it that way. Time will tell, and I'll make a decision if I like it or if I'm going to replace that and change it for a newer one. We will see. But for the moment at least, I have saved the bumper from drill holes, which was my #1 priority, and we are displaying a license plate so we can drive the car over towards Germany. But now I think it's time to get this started up and pulled out of the showroom. Bubbles into life. You get the colder start. The car's been sat here since the night before. I'm a little bit conscious about time. It is marching on very quickly. I don't think that I'm going to be able to make it to the Nurburgring today, but let's come out just to see the car emerging fully into the sunshine today. It's very, very busy. We're at a central London Toyota dealer, Jemca Toyota here, who have looked after me fantastically, it has to be said. But here it comes then, out into the daylight, my Toyota GR Supra that I've been waiting for since I drove the prototype, got to experience it over in Spain, and then got to drive it again as an A90 Edition as well. Just look at this. I love the rear end of the car. I know a lot of people have mixed opinions about the design and the car in general. Is it true to a Supra? Blah, blah, blah. But for me, you look at this, it's such a good looking thing, especially in this spec. This is really cool. I know you might be thinking it, maybe in the future I'll wrap it or something. This is actually, by the way, my first ever satin paint car. I've never owned a car with satin paint at all, so I don't know what the future holds at this point. In any case, it will always stay like this underneath. And there we go, yeah, in front of the showroom, looking very, very nice. What a thing. Really happy with this right now, really, really happy. With this car being brand new, the engine is being run in, which means for the first 2,000 kilometers or 1,200 miles, you can only drive it up to 100 miles an hour or 160 kilometers per hour, which isn't a problem in the UK, but is something to think about on the German Autobahns. And you can also only use about 4,500 RPM, so I'm gonna have to drive it gently today at least, but what we can do is enjoy the sound of Andy's Supra in sport mode. Let's hear how this sounds then. This car already has about 8,000 miles on it, so it's running properly. That's what mine will sound like with a standard exhaust. It's actually on at the moment, but I think it's time to jump on in. Cameras and everything is set, and take this for a drive. Alrighty then, here we are, inside my brand new Supra. Let's get comfortable. We've got electric seats, seatbelt just there. It's a very, very small cabin. It's a tiny car, really, if you think about it. I think it's about 4 meters 38 off the top of my head long. We've got the 8-speed auto. We have literally 8 miles on the clock. So let's pop it into reverse. We've got the reversing camera. That's decent. Good quality. That's one of the things. And there's so much talk, obviously, about this Toyota and BMW relationship. But the big advantage of it is all the tech that you have and all the equipment and all the functionality. Okay, so into drive. This is literally first drive. Thank you very much, guys. See you later. See you, Andy. This is it then. Out we go. So I had no idea quite how busy it was going to be here in central London, but Jemca Toyota are the #1 Supra dealer in terms of sales, and I'm literally now set straight for the Eurotunnel. 95 miles, 1 hour 45 on the phone. I've got the car fully set up, obviously just being careful. First time driving a right-hand drive one. I drove the prototype and I drove an A90 at the press launch, and now I'm actually driving my own. Wow, this is really cool. I'm gonna kind of keep my head on the ground, work out what we're doing. Where am I going? I'm gonna go up that way. Stop start, of course, and take this very gently and very easily. But this is literally collection day, first drive, first adventure, first road trip, first everything rolled into one video. I think many people, this might be like 5 videos. Unfortunately, with the time, I think it's quite unlikely that I am going to make the Nurburgring today. I'll try, I'll try, keep tuned in case I do. If I don't, I will be back there very, very soon. But my ETA at the Eurotunnel is 1 o'clock. If I get a quick train and I have a flexi ticket, that means I'll get on the train at about 1:30, which is half an hour, 2 o'clock, plus an hour time zone, 3 o'clock, and then it's about 5 hours to the Nurburgring, so I wouldn't get there till 8, and last entry is 7:15. If I miss it by 45 minutes, oh, that'd be so unfortunate. I've got a ticket on me, so I'm ready to go. We'll see. For now though, first drive, and I've got a head-up display. This is really highly equipped. So the A90 is basically a Supra Pro, the kind of top spec model, but with everything, with every option. You don't configure anything. You just pay a fixed price and you get the entire car. I'm really happy about this. I've got a lot to learn, but we're on the road. This is the start of 500 miles to Germany. The fantastic news is that I have managed to escape London unscathed. Almost no traffic whatsoever. I did pull in to give the car a full tank of fuel, so that's added a couple of minutes. But basically just cruising on a stunning day. What a day to be picking up a new car. Beautiful, beautiful weather. I just hope it's going to be as easy to get across Europe in rush hour afternoon traffic as it has been so far. Anyway, just after 1 o'clock at the Eurotunnel, taking it leisurely, gentle cruise. Oh, that looks really nice. M850i. That's stunning. What a colour choice. I love that. Oh, very convenient, hey? And yeah, let's just get more of a feel for this as I drive. This will of course be the most driving that I've done in a new Supra on the collection day of this car. I think it's quite unusual to go quite so far in one day, but no, I always like doing something a little bit different, and I think this should work out pretty well. Arriving then at the Eurotunnel, and this is always the moment of truth as to how long you're going to have to wait to actually get on a train. Now I have a Flexi Plus ticket, which lets me get basically on the first one, but I don't know how long that's going to be. Only 2 departures per hour, it's saying. We're good to go through, but being realistic, I am not going to make the Nurburgring today. That is going to have to wait until another time. I think I'm going to miss it by about half an hour or something. Let me just stick this to the window, and then we will drive on through. When you turn up at the Eurotunnel car park and you think you're in the coolest car with a new Supra, and then you come and have a look around and you've got a brand new 992 convertible and a Ferrari 488 Pista. Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to be crossing over. I'm going to get the first train, so I'm going to go right in a second, take the car for its maiden voyage across to Europe. First road trip on day 1, which still seems pretty good fun. And yeah, here it is. I'm not entirely sure about my front number plate, by the way. I do think I'm probably going to have to just drill in the mount, as much as I don't want to, but we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. For the time being, let's crack on back in the car then, head to the train, go get boarded, and then head on over towards France first. We'll go through France, then Belgium, then Germany. 4 countries on the first day of ownership of a new car. That feels pretty cool. And into the train we go. So by now I'm sure many of you are very familiar with how this works, but literally the shuttle train takes you under the channel and drops you in France about half an hour later. I do need to work out obviously how to put the car into kilometres, which I've not done before, and I've also still got the film on the infotainment display, which is something that, if you know me, probably then ends up staying there forever. Maybe at some point I will take it off, of course. Stop start, nice and quiet, and I think I'm literally the final car to have made it into this train before we're going to get parked in place. We're on the move, and I literally have the entirety of the final carriage to myself for the Supra, which doesn't actually happen all that often, but we are now crossing. Let's hope the weather is just as nice on the other side, but quite fun to do the maiden voyage quite so soon into the lifetime of this car. Now let me just grab the key to show you something inside the boot of this. Do you hold it? Yep, you do. I'm learning as I go here. Ooh, 5-year Toyota warranty. I might take that sticker off though. Back here, where I've got all of this stuff going around just about everywhere, let me show you these other plates, which will find their way onto the car at some point. Here, with a nice little quote from Jemca Toyota. The road teaches the people, and the people make the cars. As always with my number plates on the cars, that will end up on the car at some point in the future. For the time being though, that will just stay tucked away in there for the minute. It is time to get moving then into France, where if I go to the Nurburgring, my navigation says I get there about an hour after the track closes. I nearly did the G63 move of putting the car into gear with a stalk behind the steering wheel, but there is a quarter gear lever in the centre. Anyway, let us make our way onwards and see if there's any chance of making this happen. I'm the last person out Quick and efficient as always, and the weather here is a little bit cloudier. Sunglasses going on anyway because it is still fairly bright. And into the next country of the day, into Belgium. 3 countries then so far. Navigation, it's not going in favour. I did manage to knock off 3 minutes very quickly, but with all of these trucks, I've added 2 more back on. So yeah, now I've given up. Now I'm going to Frankfurt. Here though, where the tarmac is smoother and it's just more of a cruise, this car just comes into its own. There is one thing that nags me a little bit though, which is the lane keeping. Unless you indicate, if you cross the lane gently, it starts tugging and pulling at the car, and yes, it's a safety system, I get it. But if, well, now you would obviously indicate, but if there's no other traffic around, you just kind of move over.
Hazard reported ahead.
Thanks, navigation. And before you ask, by the way, about using the navigation, I can imagine everybody being like, the car doesn't have navigation. What? I just prefer to use my phone with Waze. If you've ever used Waze, you will know what I'm talking about. It knows traffic, it knows everything better than any car system. It's up to date, it's like a social media version, it's people just update the maps if there are any problems, and you can't beat it. And you can use your one device in every car, which is even better. So I like to use Waze on my phone. If you've followed my previous road trips, in fact, since pretty much I began filming these kind of videos, whenever I've come through Belgium, I've always joked that you cannot get through this country without either horrendous traffic like this or really horrible weather. It's always one or the other or both. I think there was one time when I had a clear run, a completely clean journey, and it stood out. I mean, we've even got stop-start going on the motorways. I've actually got a British car too ahead, but it's not looking pretty on the navigation system. This is what I expected on a Friday afternoon and why I didn't put my hopes too high. It's not great. No one's going to say this is fun. We kind of shuffle forward, come to a stop, shuffle forward. Although I tell you what, if you were going to do this, this is a pretty good car to be doing it in. It's a very gentle, very quiet, very calm, very comfortable car to be cruising along like this. And I can see how Stradman in his car did quite so many miles, because you just feel like you can chill in here. You can just cruise and take it easy. After all of the traffic, I'm finally making some progress. The road's emptying out as we get a little bit later into the evening, and amusingly, we've actually got a Z4 coming past, which of course is the sister car to this. That's the convertible. Some people joke about this being the Supra Coupe because they're built in the same place. They're built at Magna Steyr in Austria, which is also where my G63 is built too. There are 2 things I would like to talk about. One, I have kind of changed my plans again. This is becoming very much a yo-yo, backwards and forwards, I know, but the reason being is that I decided to go all the way to my place in Frankfurt, to then go to the Ring and back to Frankfurt and over to Munich in time for Cars and Coffee was going to be a bit of a squeeze. So what I'm doing is actually going to the Ring to drive this on the Nordschleife tomorrow morning. I've booked a hotel to stay there tonight, which means there is going to be a video coming of this car pre-running in, which means it will be gentle, but on the Ring. The second thing I'd like to talk about is the road. Whenever I transport a car from one country to another, I always see comments joking about the fact that I'm not driving it. Why would you not drive this car on that journey? And this is the reason. It's straight, it's rough, it's noisy, and it's boring. Driving really long distances, kind of on your own like this, going from one place to another, takes an entire day. Don't forget, this is going to be, I think, about 11 hours, 10 hours door to door with all of the traffic. It's not something that just kind of happens magically. And in that time, I'm just kind of sat in the seat, not really doing much. And I can't do emails, work, plan things, or do all sorts of stuff, or even film other videos. I mean, it's a bit different today because it's the first drive with the Supra. But these kind of road surfaces with all the noises and you know how pretty rubbish it is, you can see why I transport cars, particularly cars like the Ford GT across America, because doing this for 5 days straight to get it from Miami to LA would have been absolute torture with no luggage space and impracticality at the highest possible degree. Anyway, I'm waffling on, I apologise for that, but I am cruising, and I think, well, 2 hours to the Ring. Still quite a long time to go, despite the fact that we're now getting in towards the evening. I tell you something fun though, this is probably the car that I own with the highest total range, i.e. fuel tank and fuel economy combined to travel a long distance. I reckon you could get about 700 kilometres out of a tank in this.
Police reported ahead.
Be careful of the police, I'm actually cruising on cruise control at the speed limit. But what was I going to say? out of all my cars, many of them are very, very, very impractical when it comes to fuel economy. And in the case of this, it's probably literally number one, the best car. I mean, 700 kilometers. Yes, I was going to say about running it. That's what I was going to talk about. Running it, you shouldn't keep it at the same revs in the same gear. So I am adjusting the speed, sometimes dropping a bit slower, sometimes going a bit quicker, just to make sure that the revs aren't like literally pinned at the exact same number the whole time, because that's not the best for a car when you're running it in. Sometimes in 7th gear, sometimes in 8th, etc., etc. But we're on the way. I will get to the ring tonight. It will be dark when I get there, but we're making some progress. We're doing this first drive with the Supra. It's not going to be quite 500 miles now. It will come in at, it's going to be about 400, 600 and something kilometers. But onwards to get this car to the Nurburgring. And I'm in Germany, country number 4, on the Autobahns, which mean we can go up to 160 kilometers per hour, which is, well, not particularly fast. This car has a limited top speed 250 kilometers an hour, which would be 155 miles per hour. Here we go, the motorways, which don't have a red ring, because you can, well, wherever they are open and de-restricted, you can drive faster. In fact, just for a bit of fun, let's drop in 7th gear, and that's 160, done. Actually 161, naughty me for a moment. But yes, that's all you can do by the book in terms of the running in process. I mean, it's a little bit more fluid than that. There has to be something written down. You can push it a little bit harder, but you shouldn't, I guess, hold the engine revs faster than that for too long. Anyway, we can get a little bit of variety and action during the rest of the drive. Still an hour and 20 to go to get to the ring, but making up a few minutes, which is always a relief. I've only got a little bit over half an hour or so to go then. Back out onto the Autobahns. A small bit of sound. We're going to get back to the speed we can drive again very, very quickly. You know what? This car is actually more powerful than I realised. It very effortlessly accelerates up to 100 miles an hour with barely any press of the throttle pedal. So I'm actually looking forward to experimenting and doing some Autobahn driving with this car when it's fully run in and we can actually push it harder. But in any case, I am going to fuel it up. I'll have done about 600 kilometers on the tank, I think, by the time I get to the ring. I'm going to fuel it up so it's all set for tomorrow. But it's been pretty plain sailing at the end of the day. Not necessarily the way I intended it originally to go, but to be honest, I've actually really enjoyed day one with the Supra. Because I've spent a lot of time pressing buttons, playing with things, finding small niggles, more and all of that to come. Well, not niggles, not like defects, but like design things or quirky bits of functionality. You'll see what I mean in the upcoming videos with the Supra. But in any case, it should be fun. I'm going to meet up with Misha and Co when we get there. And yeah, bring it on. The light has just about gone, but I'm going to treat the car to a splash of 102 RON fuel. Always in Germany, you can get the best petrol everywhere you kind of go, pretty much every fuel station, and definitely around the Nurburgring. So we will fill the car up so that it's completely brimmed, only 8 kilometers or so to go to get to the hotel. But I think a stop is in order underneath the Nurburgring sign on the famous Nurburgring Boulevard on collection day. So I will get the car fueled up, tank is on the right hand side, second one of the day. And then that will be my next destination. I think it's still open, yeah, perfect. And there we have it, just as night is falling, all the way on collection day from London to the Nurburgring sign, one of the most awesome automotive venues in the world, and I think pretty much a rite of passage for all sports cars to venture here at some point in their lifetimes. To do it on day one is awesome. It would have been even more epic if I could have been an hour and a half earlier to go around the Nordschleife already, but alas, that will happen at a slightly later time. Well, hopefully it will happen tomorrow. But here we are. It feels a long time ago that I left from Jemca Toyota on Edgware Road in London earlier today. A big thanks goes to everybody there, Dev, to Andy, to Krish, to the whole team who made this car possible. But here we are now, 400 miles away from home with the latest Shmeemobile, a car that, like I've said a few times, I waited a while for, but it's here now, and I'm looking forward to what's in store with this. Many ideas, adventures, trips, tuning down the line, things we can look into, things we can talk about. But the Supra, well, I think it's one of the that's nice. MG GT 4-door, that's also very nice. We've got a GT3 RS just over the other side of the road, a Focus RS just going past. That's what I love about this place. There are nice cars everywhere, and in fact, just have a look over here. There's a Lamborghini Huracan Performante just on the other side as well. But yeah, basically, it's all happening at the Nurburgring. Yeah, this feels really, really cool to have brought the car here. The first time I've done that, from London to the Nurburgring, literally on collection day. You might remember with my 911 GT3, we kicked off from Topaz when it was there, finished having had the PPF, to to drive it here via Paris and a few other stops this time around with the new Shmeemobile. So I hope you guys are excited for the adventures ahead with the Supra. A big thanks again to everyone involved, and thanks of course to you guys who follow and support this adventure. It is hugely appreciated. For now though, that is all. Thanks again for watching guys, and I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will catch up with you again very soon. Cheers!